Morning you guys, it's Karen and I'm here to talk about my mobility aids and pain relief aids. So anything that kind of helps me in my day-to-day life, and hopefully you will see something that you might want to try that might help you. So for those of you that don't know, I have Ehlers Danlos syndrome, hypermobility type, and so the pains and problems I guess that I have are mostly with my joints. Ehlers Danlos is a connective tissue disorder, so there's lots of other things that come with it, but I do have a lot of joint pain. I've got Dupuytren's contracture on my finger here, which means there's a lump on my tendon there, which is starting to become really painful. But I have pains in my hands, pains in my elbows, but mostly my knees. My hip dislocates. In addition to that, I have headaches, very bad headaches and migraines, and I also have bladder problems that I've talked about before. And if I think of anything else, I'll talk about it as I'm showing you the kind of pain relief for it. And I also have back pain, which is something that I don't talk about very often, but I do have back pain, which I think is just an aging thing. I don't think that it's necessarily due to the Ehlers Danlos. So I'm going to show you well, I do them in areas. Yeah, I'll do them in areas. So the first thing I have is this little finger splint, which I'll put on to show you what it's like. So you just slip it on like so. I've never put it on with since having my engagement ring back actually. I've just recently got my engagement ring back. I can't wear it with my wedding ring because the two of them together really rub on that lump at the bottom, but I can seem to get away with wearing the engagement ring. It's causing me a little bit of pain, but I'm prepared to put up with it just now because I've just really missed having my ring. So this is a finger splint, which is recommended to be used at night. So once it's on, this is the splint. You can't bend your finger. It's really hard to use during the day because, you know, if I'm going to touch type, I can't type. I really can't do anything at all. So I do try to remember and wear it at night, but sometimes I wake up and I just pull it off because especially if it's hot or I don't know, it just gets too uncomfortable, but it's a pretty good one. So I'll link all of these things for you. Most of these things I got from Amazon. That's headaches. Okay, let me talk about knee pain, but also what I'm going to show you here, which is orthotics, are something that can help any pain. They can help back pain, they can help jaw pain, would you believe, hip pain, any kind of pain. I would highly recommend you get some orthotics. Now these ones I'm showing you, these are the ones that I wore for years after being told that I should wear orthotics by a physiotherapist. They did give me some chunky ones, but they were long and they were making all of my shoes too small, and so I bought these Orthaheel ones in regular, and they're quite thin actually, and these fitted nicely into a lot of my shoes. They're really comfortable, and they made the biggest difference initially when I started limping with my knee pain, which is arthritis, and also my what did I have, a lateral release. My kneecaps don't track right. These made the biggest difference, so I started wearing them and I wasn't limping anymore. They feel really odd at first wearing orthotics, and it feels like you've got a lump in your shoe, but you quickly get used to that. I bought loads of these to fit in, you know, so that I could have them in lots of different shoes and just put on my shoes or my boots. I would actually say shoes are really, really important if you've got any kind of joint pain, you know, anything in your sort of torso, in your knees, in your hips, in your ankles, in your back. Really pay attention to the shoes you wear, because I did get that advice from physiotherapist, and it does make a difference. So now I tend to I don't really wear shoes. Like ballet pumps were probably the worst thing for me, that I wore those to work. But boots are the best for me, or trainers, or anything that's closed over the top of the foot and held very securely in place, and especially with orthotics. But anyway, these were very good. But what I then did, was it last year or the year before? I think it was the year before, is I got these. These are very solid. These are custom orthotics. They are hugely expensive, they go that way. These were, I think, 250, maybe even £300. But it is worth every penny. I would pay double that to get these, because these cured my plantar fasciitis. So plantar fasciitis is a pain in the bottom of your foot. Again, I think it's tendons. And what would happen is, as I started walking, So if I got up now and walked to the kitchen, I would be limping. But the more I walked around, the more it would ease. But then as soon as I sat down for any length of time and got up again, it would be agony and I just couldn't walk. And that is, I was using my orthotics and the right footwear, etc. But since I got these, within a couple of weeks of wearing these, I have never had plantar fasciitis since, and I was in agony. And funny enough, the postman had the same experience because he posted these through, or knocked on the door to give me the parcel, and said, I've used those orthotics. He said, I had plantar fasciitis, I couldn't work for months. He said, and when I got those, it went away. So that was really good to hear as well, you know, so I would highly recommend these. I'm trying to get my husband to take the time to go, because you have to have a mould done of your foot, because I feel like they would help his back pain, but he thinks this would be too much. He's like, oh, the thought of like getting insoles out and putting them in others, because he uses Superfeet insoles. I have persuaded him to use Superfeet and they do help him, and he can't wear his golf shoes without them now. But he doesn't like the idea of having one pair and having to put them in lots of different shoes, but it's not really that big a deal. And it makes such a difference that it's worth it, you know. So that's joint pain, that's knee pain. Let me show you other things that I use for my knee. I haven't included things like Tiger Balm I sometimes put on my knees, or ibuprofen gel, or Voltarol, you know, kind of creams and gels I do try, but I haven't really found them to be that effective. This knee brace I use quite a lot. Who is this by? I can't read that, but I'll make sure I link something similar. But this one is really good because it's weird, because it always to me looks like it's inside out, but this goes over clothes, so I can wear a pair of jeans and then put this over it. And I used to be really self-conscious about doing that, because people would be saying, oh, what have you done? And I didn't want to have to explain to everybody that I haven't done anything. This is something that I need occasionally. But now I don't care, and actually it's almost like now me not caring, less people are asking, you know, or maybe it's just that they're used to seeing it with me around here. I don't even feel that people are staring anymore, you know. But you can put this, like I said, over trousers, and it's one, if you wear an elasticated one, no matter what kind you get, I have got a good one, which I think is by NeoG as well, but it kind of crumples up and you'll end up with like strange shapes in your skin. But this one is such a support that if I've got a really sore knee and I put this on top of whatever clothes I'm wearing, I can then walk up and down without pain. It really holds it sturdy. And it doesn't, you know, rise up. You don't have to constantly adjust it. The only thing that happens is it can get hot. You know, it can get very, very sweaty on your knee underneath this, but I would still highly recommend that. I've got a crutch that I use, and the only thing I really need it for is my knee. And I have tried sticks, but I find that crutches are much better. I don't know whether it's just personal preference, but for me, like pushing down on that, I don't know why it's that different. I suppose it's because you're using it kind of upside down. A stick you would use like that, and the crutch you use like that. I suppose you could turn the stick round. Or maybe I've just been using the stick the wrong way. Anyway, I find this crutch the most easy to use. And I also weirdly feel less conscious using this. So I mostly use this around the house. I very rarely need to use this outside of the house, because if my knee's that bad, I don't tend to go out. And it does become very useful. If my knee goes, sometimes it sort of goes, if I sit down to play with Watson, I'll go to get up and it's like, oh, that's it, gone. I'll need to use this just for like an evening while it sort of rests, and I can't put any weight on it. I literally can't put any weight on it, so that becomes really useful. The biggest lifesaver for my knees, I would say number one is orthotics, and number two is this, the KT tape. This is physiotherapy tape, rock tape, KT tape. It's known as different things. The KT tape version is what I use the most and what I have found to be the most effective. And they also have videos. There's lots of videos. For whatever you've got, if you put KT tape shoulder, KT tape knee, it shows you how to strap it up. This is what got me through my wedding day. You've probably heard me say before, but I managed to wear a shoe with a heel, but it was a sort of Cuban heel. I had to have specially made shoes because all wedding shoes are really high and thin heels, and I just can't wear heels like that because of my knee. So I managed to get these beautiful shoes, but I just was worried that I wasn't going to be able to dance, that I wasn't going to be able to stay, you know, walk around and say hello to everybody. But I strapped my knee up with this and managed to get through my wedding day. I also managed to do skiing on my honeymoon. By skiing, I mean I was doing it very, very slowly, and Kev was passing me constantly. And at the end, I was crying my eyes out because I was in pain. But it's amazing that I was even able to get up there and try it. You know, it was it was something I didn't think I could do. I'd always wanted to try skiing. It was cross-country skiing, and yeah, didn't think I'd ever be able to. So I would highly recommend this. The only thing I would say is this doesn't work for everything. So I have used this on my tennis elbow, golfer's elbow. I've got both of those, and it does really help on that. It's very, very soothing and very supportive. I have used it on my knees. I've used it on my plantar fasciitis, and it is very helpful for that as well. Where I haven't found it to be that useful is on my back. I've also tried this on my dad's back and Kev's back. My dad's back, it helped a little bit one time, and then another time it didn't help at all. Kev has found no relief from it at all. I found no relief from it at all. And I've also tried it for my migraines, and I've had it done by physios as well, like where you put it down your neck and across your shoulders. I've never found it to help with my neck and shoulders at all, but that might just be me personally. But for my knees, it's night and day. If I get up, like I haven't got any on at the moment, I don't think, no, but I'll wear this 50% of the time, and I normally take it off on a Monday because I don't do much walking with Watson other than a little bit, you know, around the block locally in the week. I'll put it on when I know I'm going for an hour's walk with him. But also if I got up this morning and was like, oh, my knee's niggling, I would put some of this on and it would be fine. This allows me to walk around the house without having to put orthotic slippers on. I used to have like a sock, and I would put an orthotic in it, and it's the only way I could walk around without being in pain. So I would highly recommend this if you have any joint problems. Let me next talk about neck pain and migraines, or associated headaches if you like, because cervicogenic / migraines, because that's probably the bulk of my mobility aids. The first thing I've got is this eye mask, which is just amazing. I've tried a few eye masks, but this is one that just completely blacks out everything, is totally comfortable, and I'll make sure I link it for you. It's not an expensive one at all. So if you've got a headache, you want to make sure there's no light coming in. The second thing I want to tell you about is this peppermint. This is Tisserand Peppermint Essential Oil. If you have any kind of headaches or any kind of migraines, you need to get yourself some of this because it's amazing. You can get those things that you stick on your head, forehead or Migraleave. No, that's the medication. You can get the things you stick across your head. I find that there's only one brand that actually sticks. The others just sort of peel off. You feel really self-conscious with them stuck on your head. Not that it matters if your headache's that bad, you're probably at home or lying in bed, but they're quite expensive to keep on using. And I discovered that peppermint does a better job than that. You need to be really careful that you do not put it below your eyebrows because it will sting your eyes. But I just sort of dot a few bits on my head and use a cotton bud and rub it in. The only time I don't use this, and I use one of the forehead things, is if my husband's home because he can't stand the smell of this. This gives him a headache, ironically. And it doesn't mean, you know, you take all your makeup off if you've got any on, or you can't then put makeup on or do a cleansing routine because you don't want to spread the peppermint oil anywhere. You want it to just stay on your head. But I do that, and I end up with a cotton bud. I just sort of place it just in the bottom of my nose there, just tap it there, and then you get the scent from it. That is such a relief from a headache. It's really, really helpful. Doesn't cure it, but it is definitely a relief. So I would highly recommend peppermint oil. Okay, I've got my chair of things over here. Let me pull them over. This is my foam roller, and I used to have just the plain foam roller, and then I got this one from Kev at Christmas with all the knobbly bits on it, and it works much better. I will, like if I feel like I'm just a bit stiff, I will go and lie with this under my neck and just sort of roll my neck in it, or I will put it under my back and put all my weight on it, and sometimes you'll, you know, hear cracking going on. Foam rollers are absolutely brilliant, and I should probably do more with this. You know, I've been shown many exercises by the physio to do with this, like on my thighs and bum and hip, and you know, to sort of stretch the muscles, but highly recommend that. That can sometimes be enough relief for me to prevent a headache coming on. If I feel like my neck is really stiff, I'll lie down and use that first, and then see if that, you know, loosens things up, and then it stops a really bad headache coming on. If that doesn't work, I use this, and I didn't think I would use this, but I do. It is a massage cushion, and it's brilliant. It's a shiatsu neck massage cushion, so you lie on there. This, I guess it's just a cover for it, so you pull that down, lie on there, and then you've got the controls beside you, and I will lie on this and sort of, you know, press it into, it gives you, this one gives you an amazing deep massage. It's almost as good as going to a therapist. And obviously you can then do this when you need it. You can do it for as long as you want. This one has got a vibrate on it and also heat, which is really, really good. So again, if that foam roller doesn't work, I will use this and see if that helps. And normally this does, I have to say, and this is something that my physiotherapist said to me to use regularly. It's one other thing that I use, and I will use this if I feel like I just need to relax, because the massaging cushion is quite, you know, it feels like you've taken a beating. It's not a relaxing thing. This thing is really good. It's not something I use often, but when I do, it's lovely. So you put your head, let me think, you put your head in it like that. So you're lying down like that, and it's supporting your head like in the air, and your head then feels really, really light. And if you're somebody that suffers with neck pain and headaches relating to that, you'll know that you're always aware of your head. It feels heavy on your neck, and you feel like you're supporting it. And when you lie down with it like that, it's just such a lovely feeling. It really feels like it's doing good. And this is supposed to be very good for you. It's another thing that I showed to my physio, and she said, yes, definitely use this. So you can just lie there for sort of 5-10 minutes, and you get up, you might move your neck around and get a few cracks, and it feels more mobile, you know, which, you know, for me, my neck is hypermobile, but the joints can, like everything around it can become stiff. It feels looser and lighter when I use this. So I'll link that. I did get that off Amazon as well. If my neck is in pain and I haven't caught it in time and done the foam roller and the massage cushion, I haven't been to my physio, or I've been doing too many things without using the cushion that I'm going to show you, then I will use some ibuprofen gel or some Voltaren or something like that, and then I will use a heat pack. This is just your standard you know, microwave heat bags with the beads in, but this one is a neck shaped one, which is brilliant and makes all of the difference, because I have had many heat pads over the years that just those straight ones, but this one, it sits right up into your neck. It's even got poppers that you can do up, but I don't do the poppers up, I just sit like that. And it is such a comfort. Honestly, it's such a comfort because it just sits so snug around your neck. And the heat, I'm sure many of you will agree, heat is a massive painkiller. I've been using heat for period pains for years, and I would say that heat is more effective than codeine for me sometimes for various pains. So this neck and shoulder shaped heat pad is brilliant. Stick it in the microwave for 2 minutes and you just get immediate relief from that. Now, preventative care for my neck is using this, and this is a recent thing. You can see how much I use it because I have washed this a couple of times, but of course if I use it when I've got makeup on, then it rubs against my face and I've got makeup on a lot of the time. So this is just a travel pillow, but this is a memory foam one, and it's got a thing that you can do up here, which when I do this, it's actually quite difficult to eat or drink anything. But I have been wearing this at the computer, if I'm driving or a passenger for a long distance, because that seems to cause me neck pain. And when else? That's it really, the computer and driving. And sometimes when it gets a bit uncomfortable, I do just sort of, you know, loosen it up like that. This has been the difference. This is what's improved my life immensely in the last couple of months. I used to be sleeping every day, have pain every day in my head. Now I would say the last couple of weeks it's been a bit worse, to be honest, but I've just had acupuncture yesterday and that seems to have helped. But I think it was because I was doing too much at the computer. Even if I'm wearing this, I can't sit there all day. You know, I've obviously, people always say to me, you do too much. As soon as I'm like, oh, it's better, that's it, I'm better, you know. But this has made such a difference. I would highly recommend getting one of these. And if there's anything you do where you feel like you're sort of jutting your neck out or looking down too much, like even if you're sitting looking at your phone, put this on. It's really comfy, not expensive, and worth every single penny. Oh, the irony, my back is really hurting now. I've got a lumbar. I would normally be sitting in my seat, my chair here. Actually, let me bring my chair along. You've seen my chair before. If I sit in it now, it will be at the wrong height. I'll have to try and adjust the camera and stuff. And I've got a lumbar cushion on that. You know what a lumbar cushion looks like. I can't seem to get that up at the moment and my elbows are hurting. But a lumbar cushion is always good, and a really good supportive chair. And I use that when I'm sitting at the computer. It's got all of my support things on that I'm showing you. But what was I showing you? What was I talking about there? Oh, okay, so I think that's everything for the neck. that's what I was going to say. The next few things are for either random pains or my back pain. This is another wheat pad, but this one has straps on it, and this is brilliant. If you have back pain but you want to continue walking around, you can put this on, like on your back like that, and it just velcros at the front, and it's again so much relief. But it's something you can wear whilst, you know, doing your housework or whatever. If your back pain is not too bad but it's hurting you, I would highly recommend getting one of those. If however you're sitting down, I love these. Now these are, they don't last forevermore for me. This is the third one I've bought, and the last, maybe even the fourth one, because I got sent a couple of replacements and they broke as well. But they last for about 3 or 4 months. And in that 3 or 4 months, it's heaven. I wish they lasted longer. I wish I could find one that lasted longer. Hopefully this one will. I've had this for about a month now, and this is extra large. And this is an electric, it's basically like an electric blanket. So the plug obviously is through in the living room. It just sits on my cushion. I sit down and I can switch it on. What's nice about this is I don't have to make a water bottle every morning, because I have back pain when I get up. When I get up in the morning, I make myself normally my heat pad for my neck, a water bottle for my back, then I take my painkillers. But with this, I can just get up and I don't need to worry about making my water bottle. Now, my water bottle is something that I'll be showing you as I love this. You know, it's brilliant, but it's too hot when you first make it, and then it gets cold, whereas this is a constant temperature. This one has 6 different temperatures on it, and it's just a real luxury thing. You know, I feel like this is something that I enjoy it so much when I have it, and I wish it lasted, but I'm prepared to, like, I bought it again knowing that it could go in a couple of months, but knowing that I will really enjoy it for those few months. You can get one for the shoulder, but I sent that back because it didn't sit snug against the shoulder and neck, and so it didn't really do anything for me. If it's something I missed, I'll try and leave it in the description below. Yeah, I just wanted to say, a water bottle, a really simple, cheap way of giving yourself heat relief is a water bottle. I have used this even when I had a throat infection. When I was on that topiramate last year for my migraines, and it was making me get lots of throat infections. I had one throat infection that was agony, and I'd taken all sorts for it, nothing was working, but I made a hot water bottle, put it on my throat, and it gave me relief. For the first time in days, I remember I was just like, oh, this is amazing, and I went to sleep. But I've used this like on so many different parts of my body. I can use this on my knee, it helps. I've used this on my feet, it helps. You know, if nothing else, get yourself a water bottle. The final thing is really weird, and I don't know whether this will help anybody, but it's a pillow, but it's a mini pillow. So it's a sort of half-size pillow. But what I use this for is, I think this will only apply to people with either shoulder pains or hypermobile joints like myself. My shoulder doesn't come out. A couple of my hypermobile friends can lift their shoulders out and put them back in, you know. I can't do that, but my shoulders hurt at night. I'm a side sleeper, and so when I'm on my side, putting my arm down like that, it actually hurts it. I need it to be supported, and so I just put a pillow under my arm, and this little pillow is perfect. It's not so big then that it's in the way, but it's just enough support, and so I use this and I turn over and just swap arms, you know, and I find that really useful, so I'll try and link that for you if I can. I did remember a couple of other things, some of which I can't physically show you. One of the things is that I'm on the ground floor. We're in a ground floor flat, and I suppose it's maybe pointless to tell most people because you can't all just up and move, but it's something worth considering. I was watching a GP program the other day, and there was a lady that had trouble with stairs and whatnot, and the GP said to her, have you thought about selling and buying a bungalow? And she was like, oh yeah, I never even thought about that. So I just wanted to mention it in case you hadn't considered it. When we were looking for this house, I'd already had one operation on my knees, and we knew that stairs were difficult for me. Stairs are very difficult for me. But I was kind of hoping that, you know, being as I was only in my 30s, that it would get better, life would get better, and that I could live in a house. And so we would visit places where you needed to go up steps. And we went to this one flat, and I have to go very slowly. I can't go 1 foot after the other. I have to go 1 foot and then join it, and then 1 foot and then join it, and hold on to something. And when we came out, Kev said, no, we're buying a ground floor flat. He said, I can't watch you go through that. and buy somewhere that has stairs. He said, we just can't. And it's turned out to be the best option because I really would struggle if I needed to do stairs. And if I need another knee operation, which I may, that would be really difficult. But also for Watson, who has his own joint problems, it's much nicer. So it's just something to consider if it's at all possible. Ask the council, you know, the housing association, look at what you might be able to sell your house for, etc. Another thing that Kev did for me is he put in a hand shower into the bath. So in the corner of the bath, he drilled a hole and fitted a shower that comes off the tap so that I don't have to stand up, because there is a shower over the bath. We probably don't even need that, to be honest, because I do use it sometimes. And I'll use it when if I have a knee operation, I will use it with a shower stool. A shower stool is a great thing as well to enable you to have a shower if you can't stand for very long. But in the bath, anyway, in the corner, he's put this hand shower so that when I'm in the bath, I can wash my hair. I don't have to stand up and get the shower. I can stay sitting down and I can reach for the hand shower. It's absolutely brilliant. We couldn't find one to fit on our taps. So if you can find one to fit on your taps, that's a much easier way of doing it, a much less expensive way of doing it. And two other things which are really expensive, but well, one is expensive, is I got the Dyson Hairdryer, and it's much more lightweight and it dries my hair much faster. Drying my hair is something that's becoming more and more problematic actually with my elbows. I just can't hold my hand up for very long. But the Dyson Hairdryer is a good investment if you can afford it, because it's lighter on the joints, you know, it's not as heavy as most hairdryers, and it dries your hair quicker. But also the Babyliss big hair. So I will rough dry my hair with the hairdryer and just my hands like so, or, you know, with my head tipped over. And I don't use a brush because that would be really difficult for me trying to use two hands. But then afterwards I finish it with this. So this is kind of my styler, I guess. So it is a rotating brush. It's covered in hair. Apologies, I have just used it yesterday. But this is brilliant, and I have heard several other people saying they have the same mobility issues and find this helpful, because you then don't need to try and hold a brush in your hair and a hairdryer, because this does it all. It is, oh, I've unplugged it, but it rotates, it's got heat coming out, so it's all in one, so you can just use one hand to do it. So really, really useful. The other random thing is bicarbonate of soda. This is for you ladies that have bladder problems. If you do and you have bladder pain like myself, this is invaluable. I'm just noticing that it's wet at the bottom there. Don't think that's so good, is it? I need to put it in a glass jar. Put some of this in a bath, soak in the bath, and do your Kegel exercises in the bath. That will draw some of the bicarbonate of soda water up, and it's very, very soothing. Really, really great thing to use if you've got any kind of bladder pain. That's definitely everything. So I hope that was useful to you. I hope that you might have found something in this video that will help you. I would love, 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 love to hear any stories of things that do help you that I haven't mentioned, but also if you find any of these things give you relief, please do let me know. It really makes me happy if I can help people get out of pain, because it's something that really, you know, it changes your daily life, doesn't it? And if you can find a solution, it's just that, you know, saying money can't buy you happiness, but being out of pain can make you happy, I think. So yeah, let me know if you use any of these things and what your thoughts are, and I will speak to you again soon.